What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Absolutely April, here for another reality recap. We're doing Married at First Sight. We're on episode 14, and the title of this episode is No Hugs for You, The Shade. If you're new to my channel, I do reality recaps, also on TV shows, movies, or just, if I want to talk about a little spirituality things. You never know what you're going to get on this channel. So go ahead and click the button, subscribe, join my tribe. Also, hit the like button, comment down below, interact with me, interact with the tribe, and also hit the notification bell to be notified about all of my uploads. It's free. And you never know, like I said, you never know what I may come with. It's a lot of content that I plan on putting out. So this is a great place to go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And if you're returning to my channel, I appreciate you. My A1s, I am so happy that you were supporting me. I'm so grateful. I'm so appreciative. Continue to watch my content. It's going to get better and better. Let's get into the recap of it all. We are in Married at First Sight. So we are, let's see. Nate and Stasha went to a set store to get some toys for their trip because all the couples are doing a getaway. And you know how Married at First Sight does. They do a little getaway for all the couples before decision day. So Nate and Stasha, they like to be, a little freaky. And so they went to the set store to get a little toys for their trip. So Justin is telling Alexis that he can't wait to have some boy time and maybe possibly play some Monopoly. Justin, that's not what we do on boy time. Like, this is why, I'm thinking you might be a little inexperienced. I don't know what's going on with Justin. So Stasha wants Nate to have control of the remote of the vibrating panties. I wonder if they're candy coated. What's it, Candy's line? What is her line? I'm not really sure. So so I'm proud of Stasha for giving up control. She gave the remote to Nate, and he can, see how, see how he does with having a little bit of control over Stasha. So Kristen feels like this trip is going to be a last ditch effort for she and Mitch's relationship, and it's still I'm still so proud of Kristen from the last episode for standing up for herself. So let's see. Miguel surprises Lindy with a prom dress and for the trip, and tells her the couples are going to do a prom for her because, as we all know, we found out that Lindy never went to her prom. She never really danced. So this is a great surprise for Lindy. She gets to, know what it feels like to, go to a little prom. Even though it's a little smaller than prom would be, she still get to experience, the wearing of the nice gown, have a corsage, dancing, having fun, all that type of thing. So I'm so happy for Lindy. Justin says he's excited to get Alexis all to himself, and Alexis like he always wants me to himself. So yeah, Justin, I don't know. Do you and Alexis not spend time with each other after the camera stop rolling? I'm getting concerned. So Lindy tells Miguel she wants him alone time. And Miguel was like, "Why? What do you want to do to me?" So she thinks that is hilarious. She thinks Miguel is just the funniest thing ever. So Kristen also tells Mitch they have plans, and she goes in with her optimistic energy, and then somehow it always seems to go downhill. It's because Mitch is a contrarian and he figures out a way to, sour the mood. But hopefully, Kristen's, concerns that she raised on last episode, maybe, they struck a chord with Mitch, and maybe he'll see, a little bit of the error of his ways and, want to do better for Kristen. Um, Kristen says she snapped, you know, and she had a chance to clear the air. But she also apologizes Mitch because she feels like, she kind of attacked him, which you did not. I hate that you're apologizing, for what you're saying. Maybe the apology is more towards, you didn't want him to feel attacked. So Mitch does say he confirms that he did feel attacked. They're calling the whole situation Poolgate. And so it's Mitch, you should feel attacked because you are always, you know, lightweight disrespectful, or making Kristen feel bad. You're not making her feel like her best self. She should feel like, she should feel like she's, like the Bible says, more precious than rubies. Like she should feel good about herself when you're around. You should be giving her affirmations versus tearing her down. So they flash back to a discussion that Kristen and Mitch had when and she tells, she was just confused about everything. She had a conversation with her sister. She was very confused. And her mind is just effed up at the moment. So Kristen is just going crazy at this particular time. She doesn't know what to believe because Mitch is telling her one thing, her sister is telling one thing. She's just all out. So Mitch says he takes responsibility because, he's the one who went to her sister and told her something and didn't tell Kristen up front. And I get it. Yeah, it's still, I don't know. I don't know how I feel like if you're going to give someone that type of information, you need to be able to also give them a spoonful of sugar. It makes it more palpable when you're telling someone something. And I don't know if Mitch has that type of finesse yet. So maybe, I know Mitch, he feel like he just has to say something. And I get it. But also, Mitch, you just have to find a way to say it because Kristen is not that type of person that's going to like how you communicate. So Kristen says she wanted him so badly to say he loved her inside and out. And Mitch just is not there yet. And I'm pretty sure he could get to that point, but Mitch is just not there. And Mitch says he would never be a puppet. And it's not about being a puppet, Mitch. It's just about being compassionate and understanding what the other may be feeling if you say it a certain way. I know for me, I was very direct and I'm a Virgo, so I was very, very much so direct. And my late husband, would have an issue with how I came across, and I would be mindful of things, but some things, I just had to kind of figure out how to say it that he would receive it. And I feel like that's where Mitch needs to be. So Kristen says she wants to be in a marriage where, someone is happy to be with her. Mitch says he thinks she's beautiful, smart, and a great partner. And Kristen says, that felt good for her to hear. That's what she's been wanting to hear a long time. And so that gave Kristen all the feels. And so now I guess she might be, back on a good spot in a good spot with Mitch. So Kristen and Mitch pull up to the house first, and then Alexis and Justin soon follow. So Kristen feels like she's in her element. The house is but Mitch feels like the house is fancy pants. But Mitch, nobody wants to stay in a tent or a hut. This is, enjoy the opulence of life because this is probably one of the best houses I've seen Married at First Sight couples stay in for the getaway. It's very modern. It's, it's like on top of a hill. You see plush green. It looks like turf. And I don't think it's grass, but it's probably turf. And it's very nice. I would love to stay in there. It's very modern. And Kristen was in her zone. She was like, this feels good to be in this spot. Girl, I don't know what's going to happen after decision day because I hope y'all ain't going to Mitch's apartment because that apartment needs to be condemned. It's just too dirty. So Alexis walks in and she sits on the bed and she says the bed is hard. So I don't know. I don't know. Some people like a firmer bed, some people don't. But I don't know. We'll see. But Lindy and Miguel then arrive, and then Nate and Stasha pull up, and they bring up the rear. So Stasha says to Kristen, they look like she and Mitch looks like they're doing okay. And Kristen says they're having a lot of fun. And on the drive, Mitch did say some validating things for her. So, she's feeling all the feels about Mitch again. He's, telling, affirming her, making her feel good. So Lindy says she's excited about the prom. And Stasha says she went all out and bought a dress for it. Stasha gonna do the thing, and she gonna come in here. I don't know if the dress gonna be Versace, but Stasha is here for it, and she loves a good, a little judge. So Lindy says it means a lot for them to do something like that. So as the couples are getting dressed, Alexis, they show Alexis, and she looks like an African queen. Alexis looked beautiful. She really knows how to dress for her body type. She looks pretty. Her makeup is always really appropriate. It's not overly done. Alexis is a beautiful woman. So Stasha's dress is like a glittery silver, but it has a iridescent look to it. It's really cute. Mitch tells Kristen, as they're getting ready, Lindy may be the prom queen, but you're my prom queen. Oh, Mitch, I just don't know. I'm still giving you the side eye, Mitch. I'm not sure yet. So Justin in Alexis's room. Justin is trying to help Alexis with her shoes. You know how ladies, when you have the strappy shoes and somebody, and you don't want to bend down and do all that, tugging and pulling. So, your man just, helps you with the buckle on your shoe. Of course, Justin has issues. So, Alexis said that, baby, you having problems, baby? You having problems with it, and he said, I'm trying to get it, and then so Alexis says, well, you have the same issue with bras. You couldn't get my bra. And so Justin I think, is a little low key embarrassed, and he says, he said, I could have, I could have went, all my life and not hear you have to say that. So he's definitely embarrassed. And then he says, tells Alexis, well, I have to see the bra in order to take it off. And I was like, Lord Jesus, Justin, I really feel like you are very inexperienced. One second, y'all. Let me get this there. I feel like you're very inexperienced at this point, and it is really showing in some of how you respond, and that's okay with being inexperienced. Nobody, say you have to be thotting and bopping around here, but yeah, it's really coming across as you're very inexperienced. So Justin, with the cheesy grin, says they finally consummated their marriage. Woohoo! Good, go to Justin. You finally got the draws. So Alexis, says she was asked if he was ashamed of having sex, and just said no. Of course not. He's not. That man really want to scream it from the mountaintops, because he is head over heels, and it seems like it was pretty good. It seems like it was a pretty good time, at least for Justin. Lindy asked Miguel to take a picture. So this is where we get to the drama. Lindy and Miguel are in their room. Lindy asked Miguel to take a picture, and I'm assuming Miguel is probably like laying down and relaxing. That's at least what she was saying on the after party, is that Miguel had a busy week. He had been working over 40 hours, and he was very tired. Energetically, he was just tired. And then on top of that, filming, he was just, not in a space. So Lindy, being the excited Lindy that we all know and love, she asked him to take a picture, of me looking out the window. She was like, and then, I guess he's taking the picture, but then she's like, not like in the selfie, take it right. I want good pictures. And then, he's just like, and then I guess he still is not listening to her, because she was like, do it right, Miguel. And so he was just like, okay. And so I guess he takes it right. Lindy is happy. And at that point, he was like, I don't like your tone. And she was like, oh, I was just kidding. It wasn't that serious. So yeah, Miguel says, I don't want to fight over us, you can tell he's annoyed, and but Lindy, I think Lindy was just being, like, get it right. Lindy is, I don't want to say whiny, but she's that type of person who just, I don't think she meant anything by it. I don't think she was like, get it right. I don't think it was like that type of thing. She was just like, get it right. Come on. I want my good photos. That's the type of, that's what she was getting. But I guess since Miguel was already in a bad spot, he was like, I don't like your tone. And he just isn't in the mood to be a personal photographer this weekend. And Lindy doesn't want to fight over a stupid photo. So the couples arrived to the prom. Kristen says she thinks it's better than a real prom. It was cute. They had a disco ball, they had tables, they had food, they had little yearbooks for them. They took pictures of them throughout the process. It was really, really cute. I mean, I would have probably preferred this prom over the prom I had. Ugh, my prom was not all. It was not all that. And my date thought he was gonna get some in the end, and he had a surprise for him because it was not going down. I didn't even like him like that. So Justin takes picture of the ladies, and they asked for it. And when he asked for a ratchet pitch, Stasha was like, "What's a ratchet pitch?" Stasha, come on now. You know what a ratchet picture is. Like, take a prison photo, lean down, do something. So Lindy apologized to Miguel about their argument. Miguel says, she gaslit him by saying that she was kidding. Miguel, can you just let her have this prom moment and just kind of suppress the feelings? But you just are hell bent on just giving your telling her that you just don't approve. So so Lindy says she was, and then reacted it and kind of snaps her fingers. And he was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I don't like that." And so he says, "Don't do that again." And I really think he's making a mountain out of a molehill on this situation. But it's just at this point, I can understand when you're tired and you just don't feel like being bothered, and then someone is constantly like, it can kind of wear you out. But in Libby's defense, she was, when you're excited, she's at a getaway, she's excited about being with the other couple, she's excited about the prom, she's excited about the ambiance of it all. So yeah, she might be a little annoying when she gets excited and you're not on that level, but still, is I don't think she's being like a condescending person towards him. Like, take my photos. It's just I feel like if they had just had better communication, this would not be a factor. All he had to do is say, babe, I'm just not feeling it. And maybe he said it, I don't know. But, I'm just not feeling it. I'm just really, really tired. I'm just not, let me, have some rest. I'm just, I'm going to kind of zone out for a little bit, try to get some rest. And then maybe I can come back with a better, a fresher attitude or something like that. So I'm trying to make sure. So Miguel tells her not to use that tone ever again. Lindy says it was just a joke. So Miguel says, pick a side. It was definitely wasn't a joke, and you were definitely annoyed. So he's, saying that, you had some annoyance in there, and maybe she was a little annoyed, but I don't think she was, at the 10 that they talked about. I think she was probably maybe on a 1, 2. I don't even think it was that. I don't think she was even looking at it like that. So Lindy says she didn't know she offended him, and he says the anger is the issue for him and how easily she gets annoyed. I think he's just still in his head about before, all of what Lindy has been putting in his head, like, you don't want me to get crazy. So he's on edge, and he's always going to be hyper focused on if she makes, if she does anything out the way in his eyes, because he is just not, he doesn't want that shift in her. So I think it's fear, because he doesn't want her to change up on him. So he's looking for anything. He's nitpicking. That's what I'm trying to say in short. So Lindy feels Miguel is selfish for not getting over the picture situation and not letting them enjoy the prom. And Lindy gets a little crying and all that kind of stuff. At first, when I looked at it, I was like, okay, Lindy is going full Karen on us. But after I looked at it again, I felt like she was just like, okay, like I'm not doing anything, and he's just picking. And I know that feeling when someone just seems like they're just nitpicking everything, like it's annoying. And she does, maybe, I don't know if she should, been crying and breaking down the way she should, have been, but I think Miguel's turn flip in his personality kind of threw her off too. So Miguel feels like Lindy's lack of transparency is the issue. So we're moving on to the fun things. The couples did superlatives, and if you went to high school, I don't know if high schools still do it, but high schools at my time we did superlatives, and like who is the most likely to succeed, who's the class clown, who's the best dressed, all that kind of stuff. So they did those type of superlatives, which I thought was really cute. So they did who's the life of the party? Alexis. She got the life of the party because Alexis like a good party child. So best dancer went to Nate. Kristen felt like, she should have, she should have been in the running for her, twerking skills, which she does not have. Biggest drama queen went to Lindy, of course. Lindy is a drama queen. So most emotional went to Justin. And, before they could even say Justin's name, everybody knew who was emotional, and it was definitely Justin. So most likely to save the planet, Mitch, of course. And Class Clown also went to Mitch. Now, I don't know if Class Clown would have went to Mitch because he's not that funny. He's just really a crabby guy. So maybe, because Mitch has that sarcastic, dry humor. So maybe that's what they're talking about. So best all around went to Stasha. Biggest gossip, Alexis. And Nate has said in his confessional with Stasha, like, Alexis is the gossip queen. She got a whole marriage shut down over her gossip. So yeah. Most likely to stay married went to Lindy Miguel. Now, after this weekend, I'm not totally sure. Most likely to end up in a lot of divorces. Kristen nominated herself, and Mitch was like thrown off. Like, why are you nominating yourself for divorces? Like, I don't know how if I should be offended by this. And so, Mitch was a little disturbed by that, and Kristen was relishing in it. Like, yes, I love love. I'm gonna always, want to love and look for love and stuff like that. So Kristen was taking it all in stride, and I'm assuming that she was the only one who voted for that because she said she voted for herself, and I don't think anybody else probably thought that of Kristen or would have put that on Kristen. So Kristen says she voted for herself. Prom King went to Miguel, and I mean, I get it because Lindy was going to be the prom queen anyway. But I get, but the way he was sulking and acting, I don't feel like Miguel deserved it. So prom queen went to Lindy, and Miguel tells Lindy that he is glad they had the conversation earlier, and Lindy says she needs to do better about reading him and feels like I didn't do anything wrong. So Stasha and Nate, as Lindy Miguel are in their room and they're talking about what happened. Sasha and Nate knock on the door, I guess, because they, noticed that Lindy Miguel were a little off. So wanted to give them a little humor and bring them a little sex swing. So I don't know why you giving somebody a used sex swing that you and Sasha been using, but okay. So, Lindy and Miguel, they're good sports. They climb up in the swing and try to, test the swing out and stuff. So it was cute, but I did notice that Lindy has some dirty feet. I don't understand. It seems like some of these couples, they don't mind getting in bed with dirty feet. Like it's just, I don't know. It's just a little, I don't know. What do y'all feel about? Do y'all get in the bed and y'all feet dirty? Like, I don't know. It's just, ugh. So it's 9 days into decision day. The couples all get ready for their dates. They are going on individual dates. So Justin takes Alexis wine tasting, and they get their own bottle of wine that they decide to break open on their year anniversary. Um, Alexis is happy and that they were able to be intimate. And she feels like the energy is more relaxed. So Justin feels like the energy is the same. I don't understand it. I mean, coming across from the TV, it definitely looks more relaxed. They look a little bit more in sync since they did the do. So I don't know. I don't know if Justin is still in his head. I think he feels like a little defeated after the conversation with Dr. Pia went awry, and she was, saying she didn't want to really, she didn't know if she would marry him or something like that, and he took off his ring. So I still feel like he's still in his feelings about that whole situation. And I think he low key feels like she may say no on decision day, and that he wants to kind of protect his heart. He don't want to, the shock of it all. I think he's in protection mode. So so Justin is saying he can't say he's giving his all, and Alexis feels, if she understands someone's characteristics, she knows how to apply it in different situations. You also thought that marriage was easy when you came from the honeymoon, and you was wrong on that. Everything is not going to be, I know she's her job is like being a logistician or something like that. So she's probably very analytical and stuff like that. And in marriage, you can't really overanalyze marriage because that's a whole different person with their own different set of feelings. So you may think that they may react one way and they may not. So you just don't know. And I feel like with marriage, you have to roll with the punches. But if you have that foundation that you need between each other, that this is our baseline, we're not going below this. Set some of the ground rules you have for each other. Like we didn't argue in front of our child. We would not hit below the belt. Things of that nature that we just knew that was not going to go. And if we felt like the need to get there, we would call, let's, take a break. And, before we, say something, or mainly me, before I said something, and I just needed to, woosah and just, take a break, and then we'll come back to it. We didn't always, my husband didn't want to go to bed angry, but it didn't always work. But I just, a lot of things that, maybe we had something that was unresolved. And some things I just chose to compromise. Some things just did not warrant an all-out war on it. Like, so you have to give and take. So maybe I was going to give, on one issue, and maybe he gave on another issue. It just depends. But you got to be on the same wavelength, and you got to be in that same mindset. You're not going to make the right, all the same decisions, but you are a couple and you respect your marriage enough that you are not going to go below certain levels. And I feel like Justin needs to tell Kristen, of how, making him embarrassed. I think she embarrasses him, but I don't think it's malicious embarrassment. I think she just, what's in here comes out. So moving on, Justin, definitely said in this episode that he fears that, she's going to quit on him. So we're going to move on to Kristen and Mitch. They they do archery, which I would love to do. Archery seems like a fun date. So Mitch is still confused why Kristen voted for herself and get on divorce, but Mitch says, I'm just not going to even discuss it. I'm just going to let it ride. So they decided to let go of things by hitting it with an arrow. So Kristen says she's letting go of the whole attraction conversation and talking about it. Since Mitch has assured her how he feels. I don't know, Kristen. I think y'all got bigger fish to fry. But Mitch wants to let go of the pool gate where, because they had a tough conversation in public. So I just really feel like Mitch got embarrassed, and he got a little bit of taste of his own medicine, and it did not taste good, did it, Mitch? So Kristen feels the pool gate led to a good weekend. They were able to bring some things to the surface that, have been just bubbling. So Lindy and Miguel go on a carriage ride. Miguel says, they were unable to reach an understanding. They were able to reach an understanding, and it feels good for them. So they feel like they're, back on the same wavelength for now. So Miguel starts to rap. Now, I don't know why these men on the show feel like they can rap, but Mitch tried it and now Miguel is doing it, and neither one of y'all got any flow. But okay. So Mitch is rapping, and so Lindy interrupts his rap and says, "Look at the rabbit!" And so when he tries to explain, it's better when it's over a beat. And Lindy, as he's trying to explain, his rap, Lindy was like, "Oh my God, look at the dog." Lindy is not paying attention to Miguel Chai. So Lindy thanks him for sharing his poetry, and then, as he starts to talk, she cuts him off again and said, "Look at the horse." So I'm just like, poor Miguel. He just can't get it out, and now he's already kind of been annoyed with her, and this is not making it any better. So Miguel is visibly annoyed with Lindy at this point. Miguel says he's drained at Lindy, constantly interrupting him and speaking over him. He's running on fumes at this point, and he looks it. If y'all saw him, he definitely looked like he was running on fumes. Lindy asked about, as they go to the little, they go to like a little restaurant, they're sitting down, they're going to eat or something like that. So Lindy asked about Dungeons and Dragons, and as this is Miguel's thing, Dungeons and Dragons. So he got excited and wanted to talk about, yeah, this would be in the Dungeon and Dragon. And then as soon as he starts, she was like, "Oh my God, they have their iPhones," and she just starts laughing. And Miguel gets annoyed again. Poor Miguel. Honestly, she was cutting him off a whole lot, and that would annoy me too, because if you're doing that, that means you're not present. And in a romantic setting like that, you want to be as present as possible, and I didn't feel that Lindy was present with Miguel. She was in the moment, and Miguel was just there as a side, like a side dish. She was in the moment. She was enjoying everything, and Miguel was a side dish that, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And then she, will move on. And Lindy, you are in a marriage and a relationship. You need to take the other person's feelings into consideration. And again, I feel like this is partially Miguel's fault, because as you can see, like throughout the episodes, Miguel has already always catered to Lindy, made Lindy feel good. He to keep the peace, he went on to put her on insurance, things to kind of pacify Lindy. So she's not used to him, giving her any pushback. And so now it's causing an issue where he's depleted and he's not getting, what he needs from Lindy. And my next marriage, I want to be spoiled. But at the same time, you also have to be compassionate about your partner and, be present, fulfill their needs. It needs to be some balance and reciprocity in this relationship. And Lindy, I don't know if she needs, and I hate to put this on her, I don't know if it's like an ADD type situation, as to why, because I know she is very hype. So it could be ADHD. I don't know what is going on. I ain't no therapist to be diagnosing, but I don't know where it's coming from. But she's definitely having issues with keeping her attention and focus. So I don't know if she took medication for it, because she is a doctor. So I'm pretty sure she needed help. If she needed help with focusing, that would be something that she would need it to look into. And she, is very anxious person as well. So I don't know, maybe you need to smoke a J to calm yourself down, Lindy. So Miguel, Lindy asked, "How you doing?" Asked Miguel, "How's he doing?" And then Miguel says she would, just get distracted again. Why should I say anything? You just don't get distracted again. So Lindy says, she is a bird brain and she wants grace and understanding. But when somebody's on fumes and you're not paying attention to them and you're not even giving them, any type of attention, yeah, it's a little annoying, Lindy. So Lindy says it's a part of her personality. But is it? I think that, maybe, like I said, I feel like professional help would be able to help Lindy in this situation. Miguel says he doesn't want to compete for her attention, with everything. So Lindy doesn't understand his issue with commenting on what's around her. But Lindy, you're failing to see the point. You're interrupting him. Like he's saying something and you're just jumping over it. So Lindy feels like, this is all a learning process. And Miguel says he's tired of bringing her attention to, his triggers. He wants her to be able to pick things up on herself for herself. But yeah, Miguel, y'all have only been together for 7 weeks. So come on. So Lindy starts to cry and she, and says she's learning and trying and it's a lot. So Lindy gets emotional and she's, says she's sick of feeling, she's telling producers that she's sick of feeling that she's not enough. So Miguel goes and gets Lindy and says he's sorry for pushing her to that and asks if they could sit and talk. So Lindy wants to know what point she tells him either to love me, either you're gonna love me or you don't. So it's just they're just not on the same wavelength. They're on two different frequencies at this point. They are totally missing each other. What Miguel is saying, Lindy is missing. What Lindy is, and I don't know if Miguel is really missing, what she's saying, but he's just so annoyed with Lindy at this point. He just is not trying to hear anything she's saying. So Miguel says he has to figure out a better way to express himself, and so she doesn't feel attacked. Lindy feels like, as if he nitpicks, but isn't sure if it's just a Miguel thing. Like, is Miguel just a nitpicker, or is that something that, that's just a part of his personality that she's just now seeing? I don't know, Lindy. I just think that when he gets in that place, when he's on a low energy level, I think he just gets annoyed with a personality like Lindy's. So I think that's just what it is. So Stasha and Justin says Justin told them that they did the do because the couples are back at the house and they are, cooking. And so Sasha tells Alexis, like, I heard y'all did the do. And Kristen, how does that make you feel, girl? And so Alexa says, it was awkward and his stamina wasn't there where it needed to be. She wants to be dominated. So she wants somebody to take her and throw her on the bed and just manhandle her. And she's not going to get that with Justin. Even, I don't think on a good day you're going to get that with Justin. That's just not in Justin's DNA. Justin is very soft. Justin is very feminine. He's very feminine. Not saying he's, he goes for the other team, but he's a very feminine guy. He's very feminine. I don't think you're going to get dominant from him. And I don't know if that's something that you're going to be able to live with. That's a decision that Alexis is going to have to make. So Alexis poses a question to ladies like, if the sex is not good, would you still stay? So the ladies said, they would, because sex isn't everything. It isn't everything, but it's something. Like if the sex is not good and you're in a marriage, it could cause problems. Sex and finances, those are two things like you just really want to kind of be on the same level with. Like you don't want to be someone to be unsatisfied in the bedroom, and you don't want someone who is not doing what they're supposed to do, as in finances. So Lindy and Miguel arrive, and Mindy and Miguel tells them, they got into an argument. So Nate brings up the swing again. He's like, you need my swing again. Don't nobody want that community swing. Y'all keep that between you and Stasha, Nate. So Justin asked, if they were made for people, who are 6'8", and Nate was like, I guess, but they're for the woman. And, Justin was like, yeah, no, you didn't. Justin, you thought you was going to get your bait behind in that swing. That's what you thought. So Alexa tells later she doesn't need for, toys if, she's getting what she needs from her husband. Sasha thinks, it spices things up, and it elevates it. I don't know. To each their own. To each their own. Sasha asks, if Kristen and Mitch are still on a break. Kristen says she tries to figure out, if she should put the sex back on the table. Mitch tells the men that they put their attraction question to bed, and she apologized for Poolgate, which I'm not in agreement with. Kristen, those were your feelings. Maybe I would apologize for, I guess saying it in front of everybody, but I'm not apologizing for what I said because what you said was what was needed to be said, and Dr. Pepper need to hear that too. The experts need to hear exactly like Kristen. Don't take that back, honey. So Stasha asked them about decision day. Where they are at with decision day. She's asking Kristen. And Kristen says, as a wife, she says yes, but as a woman, she is saying no. So she's torn. So Stasha says she isn't going to find someone, who's perfect. And Stasha brings out the fact that no one's perfect, but Stasha, either you're showing a lot of growth, Stasha, or you're just so, having such a great time with Nate that you just love at the moment. But Kristen and Mitch have a lot of issues that they need to work through. And I feel like a lot of the issues that they have is because Kristen is, I just feel like they're fundamentally different. And I believe that it's going to end up wearing one or the other out. So that's how I feel. Let's see. I lost my spot. So Stasha and Nate are in their bedroom. So she brings out the vibrating panties and gives the remote to Nate, telling him, to, buzz her every now and then through dinner. That's really cute. I like it. So Lindy wants to get a video of her walking about and ask Miguel. She was going to ask Miguel, then changes her mind and ask the producer to do it. So I thought, immediately I was like, oh, Lindy throwing shade. Like, let me not even ask you because I don't even want to get in this argument. So Miguel gets annoyed. Linda says she didn't want to offend him because she just didn't know where he was energetically. And she just didn't want to, get into a whole different argument. So Miguel, is like, I'm just feeling like you're misunderstanding me. She could just ask, if I am in a, if I wanted to take a picture of her, if not, this whole thing is just so immature. The whole picture thing is just very immature and is very telling because they were the ones that did not have any problems. But now all of this is coming to the surface. And Miguel is just feeling misunderstood. And he says, if I'm taking hours to explain to you how I'm feeling and you're still not getting it, and he said, like, what's the point? And I get it. It gets annoying. Like, I hate saying the same thing over and over and over. I hated that in a relationship. And I also hate doing that as a parent. I can't stand, I feel like, a broken record saying things over and over and over. That just gets me under my skin. So Lindy just says, I feel like I'm just being attacked about everything. Lindy, and Miguel is like, I just want you to mean what you say what you mean. If you mad, say you mad. If you not, then not. He was like, but the whole back and forth thing and it's just getting under, they're just not seeing eye to eye at this point. So they have a bunch of back and forth. Lindy ends up breaking down crying and runs into the bathroom. Miguel goes to check on her in the bathroom and asks, what she needs from him. And Lindy says, he just feels like he's looking for a way out. You just nitpicking everything at this point, and she's just not feeling as secure about their relationship. So they just, I can't. I was getting energetically depleted from this whole couple. So meanwhile, the other couples are at dinner while they are going through all the issues on the other end of the house. So Stasha tells Nate, Alexis, and Justin, had sex, and she avoided the question on if she enjoyed the sex by saying, I'm a pleaser. And so Nate is like, okay, So yes, Stasha is being a little sniper from the side. So Kristen tells Mitch she's enjoying being with him. So Alexis, always the pot stirrer. Alexis asked Mitch, so now you're attracted to Kristen? Mitch says yes, and the question is now dead. Thank you, Mitch. I don't even want to talk about it no more. So Nate is over here buzzing Stasha. I mean, lighting Stasha up. I think, is just going on full blast, and Stasha is like at dinner, and she's like telling him, shut it off, shut it off. So the other couples figure out, do you have on vibrating panties? So, so Sasha ends up getting up and running off because she got to take these panties off because Nate is wearing her stuff out. So Nate says he enjoys watching her suffer. The couples figure out, what's going on, and Kristen says, you know what? I'm a supporter. I'm an ally. And Alexa's like, me too. So Alexis, I thought you didn't like toys, but I guess you do. I think you low key do, but that ain't in Justin's makeup, and you're not trying to put him on Front Street. I think that's what the case is, because I feel like you would have liked that. So Nate says, he's laughing. He said, I didn't know how to turn it off. So Stasha, I guess it's later in the night. So Stasha, Miguel and Lindy are, I guess eating the scraps of what's left from the dinner. So Stasha, asks, did you eat, Miguel? And Miguel says, he has been moody and grumpy and apologizes Lindy for taking it out on her. And yes, thank you for taking it out on, thank you for apologizing, because I think he was making a big deal out of it. I feel like it did not have to muddy the weekend, so to speak. Like, I wish he could have just put his feelings to the side for a little bit, or I don't know. I'm torn because he was trying to explain to Lindy how he was feeling, but Lindy, I just feel like she wasn't paying attention enough to even hear him. Like, I think she zones out when it's not about her, she's zoning out and not hearing what he says, which breeds frustration in him. And she's like, well, what are you talking about? Like, it was a never ending cycle. And I wanted to get off of this train of Lindy and Miguel. Comment down below if you wanted to get off too, because I was just annoyed with the whole thing at this point. So the couples go and play dodgeball. Let's get into the dodgeball. So, Lindy, doesn't want the men versus women. She says she wants it to be balanced. Right off, I can tell that Lindy was super competitive. So, they, picked their teams. I think Miguel was over one team, Mitch was over another, and Alexis got picked last. Now, why the heck y'all picked Alexis last? Alexis is a great athlete. And I think they saw that with dodgeball, because Alexis, had an arm on her. And Lindy did a good job as well. So Miguel says, I'm at this point, I'm just really ready to go. I don't want to play dodgeball. Miguel, shake it off. Shake it off. At this point, you are in such a low that you are bringing everybody else down. So Miguel tells Lindy, he's unsure about how to make their relationship work. So Mitch, says, he gives, a Mitch-ism. He gives a symbolism between marriage and dodgeball, and it was cute. Miguel got mad that Lindy, started rooting for her team. He gets mad, and because he was the last one standing, and so she was rooting for them to take her husband out. And he was like, you could give your husband some positive affirmation. Okay, we are in a game type scenario. It's not that serious. You're gonna banter each other. Miguel, I just wish. I don't know, Miguel. I just hate when you have a Debbie Downer, and that was Miguel. He was, I guess he wouldn't call him Debbie, but a Donnie Downer or something like that. So he was just getting on my dang on nerves. Lindy says Miguel is just being sensitive, because of their emotional weekend. She is, Miguel's, is telling Kristen that, Lindy gets animated and he shuts down. They are going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth about how they're feeling about each other. Lindy is over here crying. Miguel is just annoyed. It's just a whole bad situation for this couple. And I was like I said, I was on a Mindy and Miguel train, and I just needed to get off. I was annoyed. It doesn't seem like it affected the rest of the couples, but it's just like when you're on a couples trip and you got that one couple that's fighting, it's just like, ugh, God, like get over it. Like this is supposed to be like put it to the side, and then on your way back, y'all have y'all discussion when you're not around and bringing the energy of the group down. Like it's just like, ugh, I was annoyed. So Miguel, at the end of the day, wonders if they're the right people for each other. I don't know, Miguel. I don't know. It's now y'all are not looking with the rose-colored glasses, and y'all not sweeping stuff under the rug. I knew that that was the case from the very beginning. Lindy Miguel was trying to put on the front for everybody, and it was not the case. So now some of y'all skeletons are coming out the closet, and y'all need to figure out how y'all gonna deal with them. Period. Point blank. And that is the end of the episode. We finally made it. Well, Married at First Sight is a long show, and this whole Lindy Miguel thing just drove this episode on. So, what would you rate this episode? I would say about a good, about a 6, 7, because that Lindy Miguel stuff was just like, oh my God, here we go again, here we go again. It was like Groundhog Day. I got annoyed. So what would y'all rate it? Comment down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification button. I truly appreciate all of you, my A1s. I appreciate you for sticking in there with me and subscribing to my channel. Thank you to all of my new subscribers, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Till the next time, you all have a blessed and wonderful day. Peace.